we kind of mentioned it at the beginning of the show, but let's talk about your climb up the tallest mountain in the lower 48 states, my friend.
I'm actually wearing my Mount Whitney hat right now that I bought at the gift shop. It's not at the top; it's at the bottom. It would be weird if you hiked to the top and there's
a gift shop. Yeah.
Like, do you want to ride down?
Please buy something. I've been up here for weeks. Yeah, I tried several times to do this. I tried,
how many times? How many attempts?
I did 3 attempts last year. 1 which got very, very close, and 2 were just me going, I'm still too scared, and just turned around. Like,
oh wow!
Because you have to start in the middle of the night. You have to start at like 2 a.m.
Wow. Gosh!
And when you're hiking in active bear country by yourself at 2 a.m. with a little, like, here I am bear light, like, it's scary.
Wow.
Yeah.
And also too, like, there's numerous times where you're like, I think I'm on the trail. Like, I don't know.
I'm headed up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
definitely going up.
It sucks to walk, so I guess I'm
There's stuff in my way, but I'm still up.
So my 4th attempt was back in June. It was actually on the summer solstice, which was the longest day of the year.
Oh, perfect.
So it worked out perfect for me. I didn't eat anything, though. And I burned close to like 20,000 calories doing this.
Did you weigh yourself before and after?
Well, I didn't have that much mind
okay,
ability. I took a pack of Mike and Ike's. Mike and Ike's are like my favorite trail food because it's like they're sugary. They're good in cold. They're good in heat. They're fine.
Right.
I went to the top of Mount Whitney. And it's 11 miles up, and then it's 11 miles back down. And that's really
harder.
the harder part.
Yeah.
On the way down, I was convinced that the river I was walking by, there were people playing an unreleased Black Sabbath record. And I was like, Ozzy sounds amazing on this record. I don't know why they sat on this.
Holy shit.
So on top of that, I'm seeing all of these shapes and rocks. I was like, how come nobody talks about the faces and the rocks up here?
Oh my God.
They're just full on hallucinating.
Hallucinating so hard. I get back to my hotel room and I'm there by myself because my wife does not like hiking. Well, she doesn't like the kind of hiking I do.
I was about to say, that's sensible.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
So I'm sending her this photo of the top, and I was like, I don't know. I dropped my phone when I was up there, and every photo I took is fucked up. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, there's a coven of witches in this photo, and they weren't up there. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I was seeing things that were not only not in the photo, I could zoom in on my hallucinations and see them clearer.
In the phone.
Yeah, in the phone.
Wow.
So I was convinced. I took photos of demons and of coven witches. And
this is why every prophet has their talk with God on top of a fucking mountain. It's like altitude sickness.
What's that called? Hypo? What's it called? Your blood turns to sludge.
Yeah.
Hypoxia.
There we go.
No oxygen, no food. And I got back home and I pre-ordered food for myself because I knew by the time I got back, everything would be closed.
Yeah.
So there's like a little Chinese restaurant in town. I ordered this like little vegan Chinese meal. They did not give me any eating utensils. So I just start throwing food in my claw. And I'm like,
was it a styrofoam tray
Yes,
that you could fold in half and sort of slide into your mouth?
So I'm sitting there being like, it's fine. I'm in my own hotel room. No one can see me. The window is open and there's a family just like in shock staring at me. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And I just go over and like close the curtains and keep eating my like bean paste or whatever it was.
Sure.
Yeah. So
nobody will ever let you know when you ask the reason why.
So yeah, kind of a mixed bag is what I'm saying.
Wow.
But yeah, I've stood on
Made it.
Yeah, I made it. I made it to the top of the tallest mountain in the 48 contiguous states.
That's fucking amazing. So
shit.
Where is that again?
It's about 3 hours north from here. It's in the Eastern Sierras. So if you're ever going off to like, if you're in California, you're going off to like Mammoth Lakes, it's like halfway to Mammoth. It's like kind of right in between.
So fun little fact about the foothills area just south of Mount Whitney is the Owens Valley, which prior to 1913 was a beautiful, verdant river valley with little cute animals and birds, and then they dammed up the Owens River and sent it to L.A., and now it's a salt flat.
Yeah, and if you go out there, it's super weird because you're nowhere near Los Angeles,
Right.
But it's all LADWP.
Yep.
Because they own all the land out there.
That's where our water comes from. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they diverted this river.
Chinatown style.
Yes, right.
That's
yes.
what Chinatown's about.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that area, the LADWP actually has to wet down that valley because once they diverted the river out of there, everything dried up and giant clouds of cancerous cadmium swept across the San Joaquin Valley. So now we have to every summer dump a shitload of our water onto the valley floor to keep the cadmium from killing everybody.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So anyway,
And it's also where they film like every Western ever.
Django. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Out there, Alabama Hills. Yeah.
So you've been, I assume you've been hiking your whole life? California native.
Yeah, I was certainly like into it as like a younger person, and I would do. I remember going to REI one time and talking to a guy. By the way, don't go to REI; they're assholes. I went
It's the Guitar Center of the hiking world.
It absolutely is. They don't have what you really need, and they're going to be a dick about it.
Yeah.
Here, let me just tune that for you real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah. You know what you really need? Yeah, it's not you. It's what
It's me to play Smoke on the Water for you real quick.
Look, we got a good deal on Dean's right now.
Oh, yeah, man. That one's you. That one's totally
Yeah,
you.
the Dimebag Darrell with the Confederate flag. Yeah.
To an 8-year-old.
Are these the same mountaineering boots Dimebag wears? Is that what?
Hey, do you know
I just
where?
got the crampons from hell, man. They're amazing.
I was about to say, where
Is this a survival kit that Bear Grylls uses? Oh, yeah.
yeah, where's Billy Idol get his ice picks?
So ages ago, I was into it, and I remember going to REI and being like, "Hey man, I want a shoe for like a really really long hike." And the guy was like, "How long?" I was like, "I don't know, like 6 miles." He's all, "Yeah, I think you'll be fine with this." And he was like super demeaning.
It's like a
about it.
tennis shoe.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, like, look, a 6 mile hike for me was a long hike. For six miles for some people is a really long hike.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's not long for me now, but
Sure.
like, you don't have to like shoe shame me.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
you
don't
don't.
understand. Yeah.
It's pronounced New Balance.
Yeah, I was going to say, unless you're in there with sandals, I mean, you're going to probably be fine.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So, how long have you been trying to attempt this?
I started training all last year. So what happens is you have to get this permit to do it. You have to like enter a lottery
Okay.
for the permit. And everyone, when you're getting into hiking and you're getting into these like more crazy things, they're like, "Oh, just go ahead and enter the permit so you the lottery so you know what the process is like. You're not going to get one." I got one my first year.
Oh,
Like,
shit.
just right
okay.
away, I was like, "Oh fuck, I have
Oh,
it.
now I have to do
I
it."
have to do it."
Yeah.
So I started training and doing all of these other peaks. There's this thing called the 6-pack of peak challenge where you just go to all of these different peaks to basically train for it.
Those are, what is that? Like in Southern, it's Jacinto and
Yeah, Jacinto,
Baldy.
Baldy, Gagonio, Wilson, Strawberry Peak. There's actually like 12 that you can do.
Yeah.
Right.
So this year I was going to be a completist and actually do all 12 of them.
Oh, wow.
But they burned up.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So I got 9 of them.
I-
I felt pretty good about
I had
that.
Hell
a,
yeah.
I had a much lazier version of that. Right before the heat wave, I was like, "Ooh, there's a heat wave, and I have the day off. I'm going to drive up to Big Bear and jump in that lake." And then it caught on fire.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh shit!" Fuck.
Oh, I mean, I'm a very, like, since the pandemic, I got really into hiking, but I have not to this, like, degree. Like, I don't know. So when did you start taking, like, strenuous hikes, I guess?
I guess it was actually during the pandemic because like there was nothing to fucking do.
Right,
And
same.
I would go driving along Angeles Crest and I just found this like weird, guess it's a parking lot, but it's just like a dirt thing. And I pulled over and there was a path there. And I'm like, where the fuck does this go? And I just kept going back there to see how far it went.
Uh-huh.
And it took me like a year to finally find the end of it. Because like when you're first starting, you're like, I'm going to go. And you go like 3 miles. You're like, I'm fucking exhausted. Turn around. You go back. You're like, that's 6 miles. I'm fucking really tired.
Yeah.
Then it turned out like
Go to REI, shove it in his fucking face.
These shoes
Told
did
you.
just fine.
Yeah, the Reeboks are working out.
I'm tired. It was a lot.
Suck it,
You're working out just fine. Starch.
Yeah, I was about to say, "Suck it, Russell."
So I started doing that more and more, and then I eventually found where that went. Then I found this like 6-pack of peaks thing, and then I ended up finding up, getting that Mount Whitney thing, and then training for Mount Whitney just kind of became every weekend I was in the mountains, and now it's like,
Cool.
I'm still doing that. Like that's just every weekend for me. I'm doing some kind of like at least 10 miles, at least a couple of thousand feet of elevation gain. Now I'm trying to do Cactus to Clouds. I don't know if you know that. It's the
Is that
deadliest hike in America.
Palm Desert, right?
Yeah, it's San Jacinto, but from the bottom.
From Palm
Yeah,
Springs.
so,
Yeah.
so you don't take the tram up. You just walk through like nothing but spider eggs and snakes and all kinds of shit. Yeah.
When do you attempt that? Because if you do it in the summer at the high elevation, that would be nice. But then the desert is 150 degrees.
But it's another one of those, like, you start at 2 a.m. when it's not too damn
Oh, okay,
hot.
yeah.
And you try and get to like 10,000 feet before
the sun
it's
comes up.
120 degrees. Yeah.
To that point, so have you ever had to stop any of these, like camp?
Camp, no. Some of my other Whitney attempts, like I got there and I'm going and I just go, I'm too fucking scared. I'm too
Sure.
I just don't feel safe. And certain mountains you just don't fuck with. You just go,
Yeah.
the mountain is going to outlive me. You know, like,
Yeah.
I'm not. People are like, you conquered the mountain. I'm like, that's not the relationship you have.
No.
with the mountain. You have a conversation with the mountain. You don't conquer it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
You think about that guy, the actor that died on Baldy and shit like that. Yeah.
Julian. I don't want to be Julian Sands because if I do that, they just go, man found dead. They don't say like, there's no, there's no.
They'd say celebrated comic Travis Clark. No, I mean, I am totally into it right now too, and I think it's like the best reason to live here is all the beautiful like hiking
Absolutely,
trails.
yeah.
I mean, it's just like for how overpriced everything is, like that is free.
Well, until you start getting all the equipment, like
Right,
I
yeah.
started buying so much shit,
Uh-huh.
and then you got to have like, do you have your emergency bivvy? No. Well, you need to get an emergency bivvy. You're like, oh, okay. Did you get your water swords treatment? No. Well, you need to get your water sword. Oh, did you get your Kevlar chaps? No. So you got to get Kevlar chaps.
Did you get your minigun turret for bears?
I had that.
Right.
Yeah. I was in Boy Scouts. I'll never get the taste of potable aqua iodine tablets out of my mouth.
No, that's terrible.
That
It is
stuff
not
is
good.
ugh,
And I
rough.
tell you, like, the more you get into hiking, the less you take. Like,
yeah.
Because when I first started, I'm just taking way too much shit with me.
Sure.
Like my first Whitney attempt, I had like 40 pounds of shit on me, and you got to take
Jesus.
40 pounds of shit from the bottom to the top.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you get like halfway there, and you're like, I didn't touch 90% of this, so you just get rid of it. And now I just take like 3 liters of water, a battery in case my phone gets fucked up, a satellite communicator in case I get super injured, and like a little bit of first aid shit. That's about it. And like another jacket in case I get cold.
Dude,
Yeah.
the satellite communicator would be clutch.
Yeah.
Even on easy ones, I'm like, man, if I'm stuck out here, like I'm fucking stuck.
But new iPhones, they now connect to the satellite. So you can text people, I am fucking lost when there's no. It's great. It's awesome.
That
Yeah.
rules, yeah.
I see Aussie demons. Yeah. No, and
I was so convinced. I was like, this is so good. Why wouldn't Ozzy release
Yeah.
it?
should have.
I see generals in black masses.
You should have written it down, man. You know, then you write it. You know, or pass it off to Max Sabbath.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, I love those guys.
Yeah, and I should say, by the way, for people listening, if you haven't, go look up a picture of Mount Whitney. It's one of
Yeah,
the most
Jesus.
terrifying
Yeah.
looking fucking things you'll ever see.
And what's crazy is like you go up it and then you actually get here and then you walk around the back of it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then you go back up it. So it's a
Jesus.
whole thing.
Wow.
It's absolutely insane.
Like you get 9 miles in and you've gained like 13,000. Oh, you started at about 8,000 feet. So you've gained about 5,000 feet. You're at 13. You're exhausted. The air's super thin. They're like, congratulations. 2 more miles.
yeah, yeah. I've
How
gone.
long did it take you?
I think from car to car, I think it was 18 hours.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was. But then like there's these trail runner dudes who are like, oh man, I got there at 10 in the morning. I was back home by 2. And I'm
That-
like, what the fuck?
That was going to be my next question. Did you encounter anybody on the trail, and what were they like?
You encounter all kinds of people. Like I actually ran into this, like, I think they were an older German couple and you could tell that they were,
Oh, they were like on some Alp shit. They were like, yeah, this is
well,
whatever.
For whatever reason, that part of the world attracts a lot of German tourists. I don't
Oh,
know
okay.
why. So
Well, they come
were-
for the barbecue at Lone Pine Smokehouse.
They should.
You could smell their butts for miles.
Yeah,
It's very smoky.
I was looking for Eric Schatz's bread. I hear it's very good. So I ran to this couple. They were probably in their late 60s, maybe early 70s.
Fuck.
And they were sitting there and they were tired. They were really, really tired.
I bet.
Yeah. And they were like, how much further? And I was like, really? Realistically, you have at least another hour.
I was about to say, the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's how much further.
That's the thing. Like the last mile takes an hour. It's an hour to do
because
you're just
vertical
tired
pretty
and
much.
Yeah, and it's just up.
Jesus.
So I was like, realistically, you have about a mile, but it's going to take you an hour. And I looked at the time, and it was before noon. I'm like, you have more than enough daylight.
Yeah.
I was like, you've made it this far. If you feel safe, you should go. So I go on, I get to the top, I cry ugly tears because I've been trying to do this thing for like a year at this point.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I'm just so excited. I call my parents because you actually have cell reception up there.
Whoa. Wait, why is there's no fucking cell reception in Griffith Park, but you could get it on top of Mount Whitney?
Weirdest thing. Like
What the fuck?
Lone Pine, the city, has free Wi-Fi for the whole city.
Oh, wow.
And then I guess because you're so high, I don't know, you're closer to a satellite.
That's
I have no
amazing.
idea. So I call my parents. When I hike a lot, I get very hoarse. So I start talking like this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I made it. I don't know how I'm going to get back, but I made it. And they were like, we're so proud of you. I'm like, I got to go. And I get off the phone. I have some like French climber take a photo of me holding the sign that's up there. I take photos of him. I kind of look around a little bit. I head back. And here comes that couple I was talking to. They come
Oh,
up,
nice.
and they're like, you motivated us to finish. And I was like,
We're also from Sweden.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
our accent is mobile.
Shall last mile turn to Swedish? Yeah, for sure.
Oh, man.
Work.
Work.
Did you encounter any wildlife, scary or otherwise?
I saw some deer. There's the marmots up there are gnarly.
Oh, yes.
Like
Really?
they will just they're very well fed because they
Yeah.
they will go into your pack and just eat your shit.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So if you put your pack down, like you don't even have that long. Like if you put your pack down, you turn around. There's a like they know how to undo zippers.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
know they'll eat through the actual cloth and just start
What's
going
a
to town.
marmot?
Do you actually like hit them? Do you like fucking smack them to get them away from it?
I just kept my pack on. I just kept moving.
Right.
There you go. They kind of look
Oh,
like
they're
a
cute.
groundhog. A
Yeah,
little bit.
groundhog,
Yeah.
sort of rodent.
This is a very visual episode.
I like how Carter's like, and do you get to hit him?
Yeah, you get to fucking kick
I
them.
might hike this mountain.
You go up with a little rubber mallet and they pop up and you do it
Right.
and a bunch of tickets come out. You take it to the bottom.
I've been training for this my whole life. Yeah.
It's like a bigger, smarter squirrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But like,
Cute.
Yeah, this is a.
It's
I
like
love a chubby rodent.
it's like a squirrel that drinks nothing but bum energy.
He's angry.
Yeah, well, I went hiking at Philmont's Boy Scout Ranch when I was 14, and they had chipmunks everywhere, and they referred to them as mini bears because their sense of smell is as acute as a bear. So they can absolutely, if you have Mike and Ike's in your fucking pockets,
They're going for it.
they'll go for it. Yeah, fearless, absolutely fearless. Small rodents.
When I was hallucinating real bad, every rock was a snake. Like that was pretty hard to like
So this
because you're
is-
like fuck. You know,
This
like
is
yeah.
Santana at Woodstock.
Like when you think like hallucinating, you're like, oh, I don't know, it'll be kind of swimmy. Like I don't know,
No.
things will be kind of like it was like full blown.
It was
Bad trip.
and
Yeah.
also too like you have to drive back down. It's like a 13-mile road to get back to town.
That part's super disconcerting.
So I'm driving. I'm like, why does no one talk about it? It looks like Banksy did art around here. Like it was just, oh my god. Like in hindsight, like if that guy was allowed on like a normal street road, you'd
Yeah.
be like, that guy should go to jail.
Yeah, yeah.
And instead, I'm just like, I climbed a mountain.
I like
Yeah.
I like how all your hallucinations are as part of them where just like people don't talk about this. This should be like news.
Why isn't Diane Sawyer here?
Why am I discovering everything for the first
That's
time?
that's how I feel about realizations about how the world is as opposed to current events. It's like they don't tell you that.
Where the hell is Stone Phillips?
How come no one's talking about this rock looks like Marilyn Manson album cover? It's so weird.
And wrapping up the news tonight, if you hike Mount Whitney, you will trip balls, as some people say, without drugs. We have a reporter on the scene.
Yeah. No,
No one's talking about this.
yeah. I was only kind of kidding about like the whole like religious epiphany thing because that is a thing. Like when you go back and look at like the origins of cults, a lot of
Oh,
times
yeah.
it's guys who just go up into the mountains and go fucking nuts.
Yeah, because I think it is the change in oxygen, and I think it's just fasting is a big part of being in a cult. It's like don't eat, so
Yeah.
you like listen to me more.
Straight up.
Right.
Yeah, so when I hike, I don't like to stop because then that's when I lose motivation.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
just like, if I start, I can't stop till it's done.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't stop and eat something unless I have it like right here next to me.
Yeah.
And then after a while, you're like, I got 5 more miles. If I stop now, I don't know if I get back up.
Yeah.
So I just kept going, and by the end of it, I was out of my mind.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about on this show the Lemurians' legend of Mount Shasta, where they believe that the inside of Mount Shasta is like West Coast Atlantis. It's this lost civilization filled with these like 10-foot tall blonde beings. And after you're describing that, I'm like, yeah, I bet they did see them.
Sure did.
I bet for sure they had a fucking conversation with the Lemurians. That's not surprising
And
at
they're
all.
like, "Do you know Ozzy? Have him put out that record. It's really good."
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. It's like I just want to like load my subconscious with enough cool shit to like be kind of bleeding out.
Yeah,
So, like,
yeah.
during that, like you're like seeing like Ozzy.
I was about
and
to
stuff,
say,
like, stuff that your subconscious is filled with. I'm like, I just want to feed my
I
subconscious
talked
cool
to
shit.
I talked to a 10-foot tall Edgar Winter, and he was telling me the mountain is high, the valley is low, and you're confused on which way to go.
You don't want to be there and be like, all my coworkers were there, but they had snake heads. It's like you don't want to think about
Actually,
that shit.
That is great. That's reassuring about your subconscious that it's interesting. That would be terrible.
Well, I had a really interesting meeting with HR on the way down from the mountain.
All the rocks were Helen trying to get me to sign a birthday card.
The principal that was mean to me was there.
I had to watch a sexual harassment training video on the way down. It's good information. I get why it's important.
But no one's talking about this.
Where's the reporters, man?
Oh man.
Where's Connie Chung, man?
What it really was my thing is I was thinking like I must be the first person to notice this. Or other people would have said something.
You're a prophet. You're a prophet.
It's so cool.
Oh man, God, that's fucking gnarly, dude.
Love it.
Now that I've done Mount Whitney, my whole thing is how many 14ers can I do?
Yeah,
A friend of mine didn't know what that meant.
14,000 feet.
Yeah, some people
Yeah.
were like 14 miles, and I was like, no.
No,
So there's, I think,
it might be 14 miles, but it's elevation. Yeah, straight up.
so I'm trying to do White Mountain next, which is supposed to be the easiest 14er to do, but it's really hard to get to.
Is that what that one's in California as well?
Yeah, almost all of them are in the Eastern Sierras. Almost
Yeah.
all but Mount Shasta are basically they're all right there.
Oh yeah.
So some of them are harder than others. Some of them require actual rope climbing. So
Yeah.
Jesus.
I don't know how to do any of that shit.
Are easy hikes even like fun anymore? Like,
Oh, for sure, yeah.
what would you say is the best easy hike that you've been on?
Best easy hike? I've been doing one in Burbank called Stowe Canyon.
Okay.
It's easy in that it's just a fire road, but it's still a lot. You can put in as many miles as you want. You can go to all these different radio towers.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah.
So you can go all the way up to like Verdugo Peak.
It's like
and all this
Latuna
stuff.
Canyon and all that
Yeah,
shit.
yes, right on
that
the other
area.
side of that, yeah.
Speaking of catches on fire all the time.
Yes, exactly. And it's a fun hike in that like it's easy and you'll probably be there by yourself. But it's kind of a bummer because every time I've gone, it's like you go to look out at downtown or whatever. It's just so hazy. You're like, I'm looking at a white sheet of paper. Like, you can't
Right.
see
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. I've driven up to Mount Wilson in the winter when it was actually clear enough to see, and that was pretty amazing.
Mount Wilson is not an easy hike, but I love that hike because it's so hard. Like it's I've done it 7 times this year.
God
and
damn.
It's each time is always fuck. How'd I do that?
Yeah,
I'm trying to look at the last one. I did this fun one in Angeles National Park. What's it called? Mount V, starts with a V. Vetter Mountain.
Oh, I don't know that one.
It's cool. It's like it's like a 4-mile hike or whatever. Very like mostly flat, but like you get to this Firewatch lookout, and
Oh,
you
I
can,
love those. Yeah.
Yeah.
dude, it's
And-
so cool.
And whatever you do, don't call it daughter.
yeah,
Know what I'm saying, man?
Can't find a Veta trail.